5 days of tests, 5 days of challenges, 5 days of proving yourself. And now, it all comes down to one final step. The step that will decide your future. The SSB Conference. This is not just a formality. It is the decisive moment where your dream of wearing the uniform can become a reality or slip away. What is the conference? The conference is held on the 5th and final day of the SSB. It is the only time when all the assessors come together. The psychologists, the group testing officers, the interviewing officers, and most importantly, the president and vice president of the board. For the very first time, every assessor discusses your performance collectively. And the decision taken here is final. Why is it important? The conference serves 3 key purposes. Collective decision-making, every assessor brings in their perspective. For example, if the psychologist finds you calm and composed, but the GTO feels you are too dominating in group tasks, the board balances both views and reaches a fair decision. Final assessment. If you are a borderline candidate, neither a clear yes nor a definite no, the conference becomes the final opportunity for you to display your clarity, composure, and confidence. Resolving discrepancies. Suppose the interviewing officer has judged you as confident, but your psychological tests show signs of hesitation. The conference gives the board a chance to clear these doubts. So, how does the process actually unfold? Let's break it down step by step. Step 8. Preparation by assessors. Before the conference begins, each assessor, the psychologist, the group testing officer, GTO, and the interviewing officer, IO, sits down individually and prepares a detailed final report on the candidates they have assessed. Think of it as 3 expert judges writing their final notes, strengths, weaknesses, and their overall recommendation. This ensures that no single perspective is missed. Step 2. Discussion on each candidate. Now, the board members come together. Before any candidate is called inside, the assessors discuss the performance of that candidate in detail. This is where every dimension of your personality is laid out on the table. Your psychology, your group behavior, and your interview performance. It's like connecting the 3 puzzle pieces to see the complete picture. If there are differences in opinion, they are debated, ensuring fairness and depth in judgment. Step 3. The final interaction. Once the discussion is complete, the candidate is called in. This is often the most exciting and nerve-wracking moment. You enter a formal conference hall where all the assessors, the president, and the vice president are seated in a U-shaped arrangement. The atmosphere is grand and formal. Here, you are asked just a few questions, usually lasting only 1-2 minutes. The purpose is not to test your knowledge again, but to observe your confidence, grace, and composure in front of the complete board. Imagine this as your final handshake, short, but it leaves a lasting impression. Step 4. The final recommendation. After you leave the room, the board makes its decision. This is where they finalize whether you are recommended or not. If needed, a vote is taken. But remember, the decision has to be collective. Every member must agree before a recommendation is made. It is not about perfection. It is about suitability for becoming a future officer. Step 5. Announcement of results. Finally, after all candidates have faced the conference, the results are compiled. A few hours later, the much-awaited announcement is made. Candidates are assembled, and names of those who are recommended are declared. For them, it's the beginning of the next step, the medical examination, and ultimately, the journey towards joining the armed forces. And that's the process of the SSB Conference. A systematic, fair, and deeply insightful evaluation that ensures only the best-suited individuals are chosen to wear the uniform. So when you walk into that hall, remember, it's not about being perfect in every aspect, but about being authentic, confident, and officer-like in your overall personality. Inside the conference hall, picture this. You are called inside. In front of you is a U-shaped table. On the right, the group testing officers. On the left, the psychologists. And directly ahead, the interviewing officer, along with the president and vice president of the board. You walk in, greet the board, and take your seat at the open end of the U, directly facing all the assessors. Yes, the atmosphere feels intense. All eyes are on you. But remember, this is not a test of your knowledge. This is a test of your personality. The interaction. Usually, the officer who did not take your interview will speak to you. The questions are simple on the surface, but they are designed to check your attitude, clarity, and presence of mind. Types of questions you may face. 1. Personal experience questions. How was your stay at the center? Did you face any difficulties? Which test did you enjoy the most? And which one the least? Did you make friends here? These questions seem casual, but they reveal a lot. If you complain unnecessarily or show negativity, it reflects poorly. What they are really looking for is honesty, positivity, and gratitude. Though, situational response questions. Sometimes, you may be given real-life scenarios. For example, Imagine you are leading a trekking team and one member sprains his ankle. What will you do? The board is not interested in a perfect answer. They want to see leadership, empathy, and presence of mind. Do you help the injured person while ensuring the team continues safely? That balance is what matters. 13. Organizational ability questions. Suppose you are asked to organize a cultural event in your community with very limited resources. How do you manage? Here, they are checking your planning, resourcefulness, and ability to motivate a team. Remember, in the armed forces, leaders often work with constraints. Can you still deliver? 4. Personal challenge questions. Sometimes the questions are deeply personal. You notice your younger sibling's academic performance is declining. How will you help them? The board is testing your empathy, patience, and problem-solving approach. Do you scold and give up? Or guide, support, and mentor? Officers are expected to lead both in uniform and at home. 5. Self-reflection questions. Finally, they may ask you, which area do you think you excelled in during SSB? What did you learn about yourself in the last 5 days? These are not trick questions. They are designed to see if you have self-awareness, humility, and the ability to learn. Do's and don'ts in the conference. Do's. Dress formally and neatly. Enter with confidence, greet the board, and wait to be asked to sit. Sit straight, keep your hands on your thighs, and avoid fidgeting. Maintain eye contact, smile, and answer politely. Don'ts. Do not criticize the center, food, or staff. Do not show nervous gestures like shaking your leg. Do not act arrogant or overconfident. After the conference, the results. After the conference comes the moment of truth, the results. Those who are recommended stay back for medical tests and further documentation. Those who are not, leave the center. But remember, not being recommended is not failure. Many candidates succeed in their second, third, or even fourth attempt. Why? Because every attempt gives you experience, clarity, and strength. The conference is not just a meeting. It is the final judgment of your 5-day journey. Your confidence, your calmness, your honesty, these are the real tests. So when you walk into that hall, walk in with pride. Sit with confidence. Speak with truth. Because this one step could be the step that turns your dream into reality. The step that makes you the future officer of the Indian Armed Forces.